All right, welcome to this week's Points and Miles report on traveling on everyday spend. Got a lot of things to cover here at the beginning of December. Wish I could be doing this live because I really enjoy communicating with each and every one of you all during the live stream, but unfortunately couldn't do that this week. But most importantly, I want to make sure to get all of the information you need for the week ahead in this live stream out to you. So let's just jump right in and get started. So when it comes to the credit card offers ending soon, American Express, it's all about Hilton. Whether it's the personal cards or the business card, we have until January 8th to take advantage of the elevated welcome bonuses. Then for Bank of America, we have the Alaska Airlines Visa Signature Personal Card. Interesting one for that one for two reasons. One is the welcome bonus includes the companion fare with it, which you normally would have to have a certain amount of spend to qualify for that companion pass. So that is a very nice perk. And then also, if you are a renter and you are a Built Rewards member, you have the option of using the Alaska Airlines card for rent at, I believe, 3x per dollar on your rent. Now, you do have to pay the processing fee, which you don't if you have a Built credit card. But if you do have the Built credit card, you can flip back and forth between them. You don't have to exclusively use your rent on either card. And it's a really nice option if you're looking to get Alaska Air Miles. And then for Barclays, we have the Wyndham Rewards credit cards, which are still out there. We don't have an end date on it, but I gotta believe it's gonna be pretty soon. So if you're interested, definitely take a look at it. Chase, the main ones to touch on, the Freedom Unlimited, we still have the $250 bonus with just $500 worth of spend in the first 3 months. For the Southwest Airline credit cards, regardless of the annual fee, we have a limited time offer for $400 statement credit, as well as 40,000 miles for $3,000 worth of spend in 3 months on all three of the credit cards. And then we also have the United credit cards that also each have elevated offers all the way from the no annual fee Gateway all the way up to the United Club at $525. The Amazon credit cards also have bonus on them. The Prime credit card has a $200 gift card instantly upon approval, and the Amazon Visa card, $60 immediately upon approval. And then for the Citi, I'll just touch on the fact that last week we saw that the Citi Double Cash and Custom Cash now have 24-month extended warranty has been reinstated. So if you have either of those cards, make sure that you keep that in mind. And if you were considering those cards, maybe that's going to be a key factor for you to decide if you want to get that card. Now, when it comes to transfer bonuses, we do have new ones for the month of December. For American Express, we've got JetBlue at 25% and Virgin Atlantic at 40%. Both of them run through the end of the year, 12/31 of 24. Now, if you've kept in touch with the live stream, we've talked about just recently, Chase had Virgin Atlantic at 40%, and American Express has now done the same with 40%. It is a relatively strong offer, not one necessarily to just speculate on. As I always say, this is just sweeteners for transfers that you are already planning on doing. So this would be a nice one if you were looking at doing Virgin Atlantic. For Capital One, we've got British Airways at 20% through to December 31st of 24. And as far as Chase, we have Air Canada at 20%. But I do want to note that if you are an Aeroplan cardholder, you would receive an additional 10% discount. Now, there is a 25,000 mile cap each year, but that could bring you up to as much as 30%. And then Air France KLM at 20% and IHG at 70% from the hotel sector. Now, when it comes to the points and miles opportunities, I'm only going to highlight a few of these. There's a lot of opportunities, but I'll make sure to have links for any of these ones that we're going to touch on. Accor Live Limitless, there are multiple opportunities, 4 different packages that are available. Take a look at those. Air Canada, we still have the 80% mile bonus available through December 11th. And then we end up having Hyatt still has a couple of different programs of a 25% bonus point purchase, as well as 25% savings on different hotels in different locations under the Member Save More promotion. IHG, we've got 3x bonus on specific stays at Atwell, Avid, Even, Garner, and Voco. Reservations are required, registration is required, so be sure to check for the links. JetBlue, we still have the 130% bonus purchase if you are interested. That goes through December 31st for JetBlue. Leading hotels of the world, 100% bonus on point purchase with them through December 13th. Marriott, we still have promotions regarding their all-inclusives in Caribbean and as well as Latin America, where you can earn 10,000 points for a minimum of 4-night stay there. And then we also have the virtual presentation of their timeshare. Not necessarily all for the faint of heart, but if you can endure the 90 minutes that you need to be able to be on there, you could pick up as much as 20,000 points if it's you and another person that lives with you in the home. Make sure to check for the restrictions in regards to it, and be sure to ask for more points. The worst they can say is no, but there's definitely been people that have reported that they have received more points for those kind of presentations. Then for Southwest, I'll touch on these. One is if you are looking at gift cards, Costco, $500 gift card at $429.99. That is including an additional $20 discount compared to the normal, and that price is good through Christmas, December 25th. And then we have a cyber sale that ends today, and that is up to 30% off of base fare, and it is good for travel for January 7th of 25 through March 5th of 2025 for domestic. But if you are looking at Hawaii, Puerto Rico, or an international, it ends up going to May. So that may be something to look at. There'll definitely be blackout dates involved. So definitely pay attention to what you may find. And then, last thing I'll touch on is that we still have the double the Wyndham reward points at select hotels. No registration required, no end date. I'll have the link for the landing page of the locations around the world that has that. So let's start touching on some of the news. Hilton and Small Luxury Hotels of the World, or SLH, their partnership. Now, we talked about this and had heard about this back in February when they announced this new partnership. Now, as of this point, they have completed their primary onboarding of hotels at just over 400. Now, for people that are not aware of SLH, Small Luxury Hotels of the World is a boutique group that has around 560 hotels, give or take. The beauty of this real partnership is that you earn Hilton points in the same way as if it was a Hilton property, and you can also redeem Hilton points or free night awards as part of the standard system that Hilton has, which will mean that you might top out at about 150,000 points a night. Now, once again, these are always excellent type of partnerships to kind of expand into areas that the brand may not normally have, and this is definitely the case with Hilton. So let me let you know about some of the extra benefits that you get. If you're a non-elite member, you'll receive a guaranteed member discount, complimentary Wi-Fi, late checkout, of course, subject to availability, bottled water, and no resort fees on award stays. If you are a silver member, 20% bonus, 5th night free on award redemptions. That can really save you a lot of money on this, and you only have to be a silver status person to get it, which is a very nice benefit. Then if you're a gold member, you'll get an 80% bonus with continental breakfast for 2 and space available upgrades. Now, I bolded continental because unfortunately, as this news came out of this initial release of those 400 hotels as part of Hilton, the problem is that they used to have the language as complimentary breakfast. Now they are changing it to continental, which is unfortunate because the original breakfast, a lot of people have gold status based upon credit cards that they would have as simple as the American Express Platinum. So It's unfortunately a step down, but it's still some nice benefits to be able to look at. And if you're a Diamond member, the only additional benefit is that you go from an 80% bonus to 100% bonus. So definitely take a look and see if there may be slots that you might be looking at that small luxury hotels can fill with you getting additional benefits by you having status. And then we've got the Park Hyatt Kuala Lumpur that is going to be opening up in June, but they are already taking reservations. So reservations are being accepted for stays as of June 23rd of 2025. Now, as of course, with any hotel opening date, it is always subject to change. This was originally supposed to be open back in 2021, but of course the pandemic ended up creating all kinds of problems. And so now we are moving into 2025 with that opening date, but it could still change or adjust. So be careful if you're looking to be one of the first ones there. And then as far as where it's located, it is at the new Mareka 118 building. It is not just the tallest building in Kuala Lumpur. It is actually the largest, tallest building in all of the Asia Pacific region. Now, I've talked about a lot of new hotels, especially Hyatts, around the world in London and such. And most of the things that I've talked about when they're in a metropolitan area is that those hotels are a lot of times on the lower floors. So it really takes away from any kind of scenery. That's not the case with this location. It takes up the top 17 floors of this 118 floor building. Now, they're expected to have 232 rooms, which includes 28 suites and 30 residential apartments. Now, this is going to be a Category 5 resort. Point redemptions for standard rooms are going to be between 17,000 and 23,000 Hyatt points, and the standard suite would be 29,000 to 35,000 points. Now, as far as the cash rate, as far as their local currency, it is 1,400, but if that is around $315 US dollars, but that is before taxes and fees. Now, Kuala Lumpur does have luxury hotels, but they're normally considered one of the more value-based luxury hotel markets in the world. But Hyatt has priced this near at the top of the scale for luxury hotels. So we'll see if they have to relent and go back a little bit on those pricing because of them being so high. But as far as a view, it's definitely not for the faint of heart. Being up there on the top 17 floors would be amazing. And then we have Air Canada, which has made some changes for basic fares that you definitely need to know about as we go into 2025. So basic economy tickets will be experiencing two changes in 2025. The first is for tickets purchased as of January 3rd of 2025 will no longer receive a full-sized carry-on included. Only a small carry-on will be included at no extra cost. And then the second item is for tickets purchased as of January 21st of 2025, they will no longer allow passengers to switch the seat from what you're assigned at check-in. Now, these are unfortunate changes, but not too surprising when it comes to basic economy, as a lot of airlines are really trying to limit what you get with the most basic fare. But a couple of things to keep in mind. This applies to flights within North America as well as flights into the Caribbean, Central America, and Mexico. So while that is a large number, it is not all of them. The second part is it will not apply to Aeroplan Status members, Star Alliance Gold members, and Aeroplan Premium Card members. So that could be a really nice benefit for you if you have that card or cards or that status. Now, the two biggest rivals in Canada, which is WestJet and Porter, both already have these same policies. And we've talked about this thing before, is when it comes to your competitors, if they are able to get away with not providing a certain service or benefit, you will more than likely see another competitor fall in line. And that is what we're seeing with Air Canada. So not good news, but not surprising news. Now, what do you want to say? If you are finding any of this information beneficial to you, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. It's it would really do a lot for me and for the channel, and I thank you very much in advance. Well, let's go and move on to Clear's Lane of the Future, which I found very interesting. So for people that may not be aware, Clear is a separate service that you may see when you go to the TSA line if you're in the United States. So you have TSA PreCheck, where you are basically enrolling in the government-based service, and with a very minor background check, you're able to get to not have to take off your shoes, take out your computers. It's a very nice convenience. So Clear is a completely separate for-profit company benefit, where when you go through there, normally by using your fingerprint or a scan of your eye, you'll get, you've already been checked, and you'll be able to basically get escorted to the front of the line, whether you do or don't have TSA PreCheck. And it is an excellent benefit and one that I love having. But they are now going to look to make it the lane of the future. And so Clear unveiled its latest and fastest technology last week to 12 different airports. Now, the new technology includes face-first verification versus the fingerprint or eye that I talked about. Now, Clear says this new technology is going to be 5 times faster than what you can do with fingerprint or eye. Now, there's a video that demonstrates that really just shows a customer walking past a screen, barely even slowing down their step to get verified. And they call this invert, which is enrollment and verification. Now, Clear's popularity has only continued to grow, driven by credit cards that are providing the $199 annual credit, which covers that fee. And it's really American Express with the green card, the platinum card, the business platinum card, as well as the Black Centurion credit card. And as far as the locations that this is at, they're at Austin, Buffalo, Cincinnati, Denver, JFK, New York, Oakland, Orlando, Pittsburgh, DCA for Washington, D.C., Salt Lake City, San Francisco, and San Jose. Now, the pods, these Envy pods, will continue to roll out through 2025. And once the rollout is complete, they will actually remove the whole fingerprint and eye scan. I will have a link for the video because it is very interesting to see how quickly you can move through this lane of the future system. And make sure to let me know in the comments if you have Clear and what your thoughts about it. And do you share the same feeling as I do, or would you take it or leave it? And then we've got talking about if you're in Cape Town, how about doing Uber Safari? So Uber Safari connects visitors, if you're in Cape Town, to the Gwilla Private Game Reserve, which is about 2 hours away from main Cape Town. It provides service from your hotel to the reserve and back. It is one of what they call the Uber experiences provided by Uber. The cost is really relatively low, I think, when it's only $200 for up to 4 guests, which includes the drive from Cape Town for that 2 hours, as well as the drive, the welcome drinks, as well as the 3-hour safari. Now, this is one of the Uber Go Anywhere experiences. The other couple of them are the Uber Bubbles, which is from Paris to Champagne in France, and then Uber Boat, which is in Mykonos in Greece. Obviously, Uber is doing what they can to expand from just being rideshare. And if they can keep prices that low and develop relationships with different other vendors, this could be a very successful thing for them, and one that I would definitely be willing to look at if I'm in Cape Town. So I wanted to also share with you a couple Delta stories that I found very interesting, and just to kind of bring some light to a couple things. So one is about the Delta stowaway. So Delta had a flight from New York to Paris last week, and the flight was 6 hours, 49 minutes long. So it wasn't a very short flight. flight attendants had kind of noticed a woman that was going from lavatory to lavatory, but never really sitting down anywhere, which raised suspicion. So the flight attendants notified the captain, who then called ahead for police when landing in Paris. Well, it turns out this woman is a 57-year-old Russian national with a US green card. But what she was doing was she was trying to seek asylum in France. Now, of course, they denied her asylum while she was there, and she was sent back to the United States. TSA did confirm that she did get through security. Now, we don't have any of the specifics, though, but very interesting of a person that already had a green card here in the United States doing this type of activity to seek asylum in France. So I thought it was very interesting. Wanted to share that with you. Then let's talk about tipsy flight attendants. So one thing I learned, and you may have known this, that the Netherlands is known for randomly testing flight airline crews very hard, much more than a lot of other countries around the world. So on November 29th, they basically went through 445 crew members that were going to be tested between 7 a.m. and 10 a.m. for their morning flights. Now, 3 total crew members, now this is across the board, not just Delta, 3 core total crew members failed, but 2 of them were actually on the same flight as flight attendants. It was a Delta flight that was going to go to JFK. Now, they were able to still depart, but they did have to, because of them not being able to participate in service, they had to limit the amount of service. Now, the Netherlands requires no higher than a 0.02 as far as your blood alcohol reading. One of them had 0.024, but the other one was 7 times the limit at 0.143. Now, I'm not sure what that person was thinking, but I found it very interesting that they could do that much activity in Amsterdam before getting on a plane. So just wanted to share a little bit of light news for you. So let's move to Korean Air and the Asiana merger that is about to occur, or really is getting started. So this acquisition was announced years ago. Really, of course, as we talk about the pandemic, just when the pandemic began. And it appears to now finally being able to move forward years later. Korean Air is going to be acquiring Asiana. And back then it was valued at $1.6 billion. Now, both Korean and both of the are Korean airlines, with Korean Air belonging to SkyTeam and Asiana belonging to Star Alliance. And for those that may not be completely aware of the alliances, there's basically 3 main ones. You've got SkyTeam, which Delta from the United States is the big one. You have One World, which is basically Alaska Airlines as well as American Airlines from the US status point of view. And then Star Alliance is United Airlines as well as Air Canada, among others. So just to kind of give you a little bit of feel of the different groups. So why is this happening? Well, at the time the merger was announced, it made perfect sense because it was the start of the pandemic. And of course, there was no air activity, essentially. So the financial aspect made perfect sense. Now, so the need for the merger, though, was bigger than that. Having 2 full service airlines for a country of 50 million is very rare. So there just wasn't enough business from the home country to fully support 2 full service airlines. Now, it had to go through, excuse me, and of course, excuse me, Asiana was also in some difficult financial situation at that time compared to Korean Air. Now, 14 different regulatory authorities were required for approval from around the world, with the United States being the final one. Now, as far as some thoughts, with so many regulators that you have to get through, and we've seen these type of discussions, horse trading, as you may say, that you have to do to try to go through all the hoops of regulatory. And Korean Air and Asiana had to go through that same situation. So, as part of the regulators giving approval, Asiana had to sell its cargo business. Routes to Europe had to be transferred to a domestic competitor, which is Tuwai Air, which is a low cost carrier in Korea. And the Asiana name will disappear over time. Low cost now, both of them, though, as from a low cost carrier standpoint, Korean Air has Jin Air, which is expected to essentially absorb Asiana's two low cost carriers of Air Busan and Air Seoul. So from the low cost carrier to the regular carrier, Korean will basically take over all of it. So we'll have to see what it looks like, because obviously a lot of times when you do have these mergers, they normally are not a positive for consumers because you lose options. But we'll see as we get more details through this process. But I thought that was going to be very interesting, especially for travel to Korea and Asia. And then we have Flying Blue promo rewards for December 2024. Now, this is a regular promotion that offers discounted redemptions, normally for flights to Europe, with some other ones sprinkled in that we do have this month as well. Now, for the bookings, you must make them by December 31st of 2024, and it is valid for travel all the way through May 31st of 2025, which is a very nice touch for these promotions, that even though they come out each month, you do have a few months to be able to schedule something. Now, the flights to and from Europe in economy will start at 15,000 miles. In business will start at 37,500 miles each way. So let's talk about some of the deals that are offered. So economy to and from Europe, you have New York and Portland in the United States, and then Montreal and Toronto in Canada. Now, there are a couple of other ones. You can go to and from Nairobi, Kenya through New York JFK at 26,250 miles for economy. And to go to Accra, Ghana, you can also go from New York JFK for that same 26,250 miles. And then if you're looking at business, there's only a couple going on, and it's only in Canada, flying out from Edmonton as well as Ottawa at that 37,500 miles. One thing to keep in mind as far as thoughts, there is currently a 20% transfer bonus from Chase. So if you transferred through Chase, if you already had this kind of being looked at, you would basically reduce that economy price from 15,000 to 12,000 miles, or you would reduce that 37,500 miles down to 30,000 miles. So if that is something that you are interested in and you've got some Chase points, you might want to look at doing the transfer from there to even further get an outstanding bargain. I'll make sure to have a link for this promo reward so that you can even further explore the options. And then let's move to Citibank and American Airlines becoming an exclusive couple. Now, we've obviously have talked about these rumors for a while, especially once American Airlines left Bilt. And then we also heard about the negotiations of American Airlines wanting to consolidate themselves with just one credit card issuer, whereas they've been having Citibank and they've also had Barclays that both issued credit cards, both did marketing, but Barclays marketing was very, very limited. So they did not do nearly as much sales through their credit cards compared to American Airlines and Citibank. Now, Citibank used to have American Airlines as a transfer partner, but essentially it ended up being for a very short window of a few months. So it made sense that Citibank would eventually get them back. And it appears that point has come. So Citi will become the exclusive issuer of American Airlines credit cards in 2026. And this is part of a 10-year extension of their current contract. Now, in addition, we're hearing that American Airlines will finally become a transfer partner for Citi Thank You points. The wording is a little bit kind of gray, but that's what it's looking like. So I'm not saying for sure, but it's looking like that's what is going to happen and how a lot of others are reporting it. And then Citi will also acquire the Barclays American Airlines credit card portfolio in 2026. So that was kind of part of the question as well, was what was going to happen with Barclays and people that had their credit cards. So a few thoughts. While believing this was going to happen, it still represents a monumental change. When it comes to Barclays, the press release said Barclays card members will continue to experience the same benefits they do today. That would kind of lead you to believe that the credit cards that you have from Barclays are not just going to automatically be dumped into Citibank's credit cards that they have for American Airlines, that they may potentially maintain those credit cards. We have a little while to go. It's all the way until 2026, so a lot of things can happen. So definitely be aware of what that might look like. I think that I'm not totally sure if it's going to work out that way, mainly because of the fact that the welcome bonuses for Barclays have always been very easy to get, very small purchases to get those bonus points. And that is definitely not a concept that most Chase or American Express or Citi or Capital One has. So I don't know if they would want to kind of create competition for themselves on that. So if you are interested in looking at the Barclays portfolio of credit cards, you may want to kind of plan out what that may look like for you and not wait until we get closer to this actual takeover by Citibank. The Red Aviator card might be the perfect place to start with Barclays because of how easy that welcome bonus is and what it may open up for other credit cards with the Aviator collection. And then as far as thank you points and the value, the addition of American Airlines will clearly give an enormous boost to the value of thank you points if they hold similar value to what they have now. Now, we don't know if that's going to be the case because we have a lot of time to go. But if they do, it could be a very good thing. Or we could see some changes. Devaluations can happen. That's a long time. So definitely keep your eyes open. Keep aware of the live stream. I'll definitely provide news as we get it each and every week with this. And definitely want to be able to say once again, if you found any of the information beneficial and you definitely consider subscribing, joining on the stream, doing this every Thursday, normally at 7 o'clock, a little earlier today since it's recorded. And I have a lot of different videos that are to give explanations or different things about a lot of these credit cards and different things going on. So please consider doing that. And I greatly appreciate your taking your time to watch this live stream and look forward to joining you live, hopefully next week. But thank you so much, and everybody take care.